Hello and welcome back to another episode of Making It. My name is Mirabelle, I'm your host, and on today's episode, we are back to music. Today's guest is Hayzee. She's a designer, a Twitch streamer, and she's one of my favorite Australians. Hayzee has grown exponentially through Twitch streaming within the past year and a bit, and even T-Pain said she's dope, so you know she's legit. We talk a lot about streaming, which is how we met each other through raids and all of that, and we talk about our mental state while streaming, some of the difficulties and the more negative sides of things that we encounter with streaming on Twitch, but also all of the amazing things that we've gained from streaming as well. We also get kind of vulnerable, touching on the topics of imposter syndrome, burnout, creative blocks, and procrastination. We discussed some tips on how we deal with these things and shared our experiences. We get to know Hayzee a little better as she shares her background in design and how she switched from being a full-time tutor, teaching design, into becoming a full-time Twitch streamer. So please, please, please go check out her Twitch streams. She's amazing. I love her so much. And we actually released a cover together of Lift Me Up by Marie, who was on the second episode of the podcast. So definitely go listen to that if you haven't. And by that, I meant the second episode of the podcast, but also you could go listen to our cover as well if you haven't done that. I just want to sing with Hayzee IRL together so badly, but we live on opposite sides of the world, so hopefully someday it'll happen, and hopefully someday soon. I hope you enjoy the episode, and as always, please rate and review the podcast, leave a comment on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, wherever. Let me know what you think, and if you want to get involved with the podcast, you can join my Patreon. Links are where the links are, and yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Hi, Hales.
Hi. Oh, Hales. Oh, she called me Hales. Hi, Merbsy. Merbsy's a new one. I've called you Merbs first.
Yeah.
I've changed to Merbsy.
It's evolved.
Like all the nicknames I give people, I feel like each person's nickname gets an evolution over time. It's great.
Seems like they all have they end in Z's.
Really? I think it's E in some way, I think.
Yeah,
exactly. Though Thomas's name is Tomasco. So I think it depends on the person.
Yes.
Whatever I can come up with. Yeah.
Well, okay, so we all know you from Twitch, or most people should know you from Twitch. You've now been streaming. Now it's your full-time thing, right?
It is, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When did you start streaming, and why did you start streaming?
Oh, when did I? Oh my gosh. When? I think it was something like early September 2020. Yeah. I want to say, man, these past few years, I was about to say 2019. Yeah. No, that doesn't sound right. No. So that's when I started streaming. Why did I start streaming? Honestly, nothing special. I definitely didn't go onto Twitch with the specific idea of being a streamer, much less being a music streamer. I cannot believe I'm in this position I am right now. But I came onto Twitch initially because of Zelda Breath of the Wild speedrunning, actually. So purely for games. I came over from YouTube, actually. I'd only heard of the name Twitch being, kind of thrown around and associated with games. So actually I'd been on Twitch for 6 months just watching game streams. So I was very much in those kind of communities, and it felt really nice. I definitely have a couple of people to thank for streaming. Well, the first person would be Limcube, because his stream and his community was this community that made me think hey, I kind of want to build my own community too. So he kind of planted the idea of hey, maybe I could do this as well. And then Barry, who's actually I met through Limcube, is a mod there. And he was yeah, you should totally stream. He really encouraged me. He helped me set up things, though my first stream was done on my phone. So nice. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much how I got into streaming. I think since the beginning, I really had a heavy focus on wanting to build a community. And then the next step was just like, well, what do I do to like, what can I do to stream? Like, I can't play games. I'm horrible at them. So I don't think anyone would come to watch me play games. So like, what would it be? It'd probably be music. So yeah, that's a very long-winded answer, but that's how I got into Twitch.
That's awesome. You've been doing some gaming streams though, haven't you?
I have.
Like a couple.
Yeah, see, that's how you get them. You lock the community in and then you do gaming streams, because then people watch you when you're bad. Exactly, because then they'll watch you even though you're bad. Whereas like if I started out as a gaming streamer, I'd just be boring as. Yeah. Yeah.
What have you been playing? Have you been playing anything recently?
No, not since I did my Christmas stream end of last year. But oh gosh, what did we do? I feel like we played something before we played Life is Strange. But we've been playing through Life is Strange, which has been incredibly fun. Oh, we played through Firewatch was the first one. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, Firewatch was the first one. I don't know. Do you play games?
I have Firewatch downloaded and I still have not played it.
It's interesting. it's like, it's good, and like I have a huge love for indie games. I don't know, I just felt the ending was a little bit sus, a little bit weird. But yeah, I definitely think it's like right up your alley. In terms of like the soundtrack and the visuals and everything. I feel like that's totally up your alley as well.
I have so many games downloaded that I just have not started playing.
Yeah, me too.
Or like I've played Animal Crossing and then sometimes I stop and then it's been like a month or two and I'm like, oh.
Do they still do the thing on Animal Crossing where the weeds come up if you don't visit it, like visit your village for a while?
Yeah, and like cockroaches.
Oh yeah, in your house. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do be annoying.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have a background in design and like you taught design. Did you explain your
thing?
Yeah.
So I studied design and visual communication, which for those who don't know what that is, it's I don't like to say this, but like the easiest way for people to understand it is it's, in a nutshell, it's graphic design, but it's like much broader than that. You can definitely go look it up if you're interested more about what it is. But so I studied that. I did my honors degree in that. And in that honors year, I started teaching as a tutor at university.
Sorry, what is honors year?
Oh, wait, do you guys not have like so the hierarchy is like of your credentials is like a bachelor's, right? And then it's like a bachelor's honors. So it's like the next one up. And then it's master's, I think. Is that right? And then a PhD, right? I think that's how it goes.
For where I am anyway, in Alberta, Canada, it's like, I don't think I've heard of a bachelor's honors, but maybe that's just me. But like bachelor's, master's, PhD is what I know.
Yeah, it's like the in-between.
Interesting.
Yeah, and yeah.
Okay.
Even then, my course does it like a little bit differently. Like you get a taste of what masters is like in terms of like it's very heavily research focused, whereas your bachelor's, like your undergrad, is pretty like hands-on. It has like theory stuff and research components, but it's like honors is where it's like it's very research heavy. So yeah, I did that. I started teaching. By teaching, I mean like tutoring first year students. And then I pretty much continued that up until end of last year, the end of 2021, before I realized like, yeah, I can't keep putting my feet in, two boats. Like it's a bit, it's getting a bit much. So that's when I decided to stop teaching. Which is very sad because I actually really, really enjoy teaching and I really, really love design. So really sad to let it go. I also interned, like, you know how after uni, if you can't get into a full-time job straight up, like you tend to do like internships and you kind of explore around hoping that it's like an entry into a full-time job. That's kind of what I did. And that was the trajectory of my career path up until Twitch came along. Yeah, so like after I finished my honors, I did an internship for 3 months, and then I pretty much was offered to do Twitch like an opportunity to do Twitch full time, and I thought, why not? This is wildly crazy. Parents probably not going to like it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Yeah.
Nice. Well, that's good that you went for it, I think. So far, it seems like it's been paying off really well.
Yeah, I'm going to see how long I can do it for. Yeah.
Your community's been growing so fast, and it's pretty it's kind of chaotic in there sometimes.
Oh, it's always chaotic in there.
It's amazing. Like, the same people show up every time. It's great.
Hopefully a good chaos. Hopefully we're only giving
it is good chaos.
Good chaos energy vibes. Good. Whew. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, even you got a shout out from T-Pain on Twitch, right?
Yeah.
That's a thing that happened.
Yeah. The tragedy is that I don't think he actually knows like how Twitch works properly. Like, I don't think he hangs in people's streams long enough to actually understand how it works, other than like going live, and like he does his stream really, really well, but like how like little things operate. So like I saw in one of like his VODs when he actually did make that comment about like, yo, she's lit. He wanted to subscribe, which I was like pretty shocked to see. So he clicked the subscribe button, saw that he needed to log in, and he was like, I think he just assumed that he already subscribed. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know where that went, but it's the thought that counts. I was very honored. Yeah. I was very, very honored.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Look at you being recognized by people, amazing people in the industry.
Well, like that's the thing, right? Like, I feel like I have met so many incredible people, including you, who just like, you can't help but compare, right? Like, I feel like a fraud on Twitch. Like, I meet all these incredible people who are genuinely musos. They come up to me and they're like, oh, like, I think, you're super awesome. Like, I admire you heaps. I'm like, what? You admire me? There's no way. Like, I feel so underqualified.
You're amazing. Okay?
No, stop.
You're amazing.
Stop.
Your streams are great. They're chaotic sometimes, but it's also very cozy somehow.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
It's a weird balance.
Yeah, I always get that comment that it's like super cozy, but I know it's like chaotic. So I'm like, but how? And we just meme a lot, so like I don't understand how it's cozy, but I'm glad. It's a good thing to be, known for.
Yeah. Well, I think your voice is your voice makes it really cozy, probably.
Yeah, that could be it. That could be it. Yeah. It's a very stark contrast. I get this comment a lot that it's like a stark contrast between like my speaking voice and my singing voice. Whereas I think yours is like the perfect like consistency of just like gentle, and it's like it hugs you. Your voice just hugs you.
Thanks. But yeah, the imposter syndrome thing, have you found any ways to get around that? Or is it just kind of like it crops up and you just...
Yeah.
I don't know. How do you deal with that?
I deal with it on a very consistent basis. Dang, I think in all fields of work, you're going to feel imposter syndrome. It's weird. It's a weird commonality that we all share. I don't know. I feel like unless you're like a super cocky person, you'll in some way feel like imposter syndrome to to a certain degree. Like I dealt with it this morning, which was why I was feeling a little bit mentally like, ugh. Ways to get around it, I think it really is just like repeating in my mind, like you have your own journey, people are there, like your community enjoys and values you for a reason. And that's gotta mean something, right? That's gotta count for something. That's one thing. I think as long as I enjoy what I do, that's the thing that's going to keep me going on Twitch. And the interaction with the community is what's going to keep me going on Twitch. And I think sometimes when I start to feel the imposter syndrome is when I start to focus too much on what shouldn't matter as much. Like you hear people talking about like the numbers game, the view count dropping and everything. And it's really like disheartening, and like the growth, depending on what metric you're using of your channel is not going the way you want it to. And then I realized that's not actually what matters most to me. Like what matters most is that people are still coming to hang out with me and they enjoy my presence, and I get to play music for them and we get to all enjoy music together. I think that's what keeps me grounded. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a good perspective to have.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like, how about you? It's different for everyone. Like, how do you deal with it?
Well, okay. Yesterday on my stream, when I sang Jealous, my song Jealous.
Oh, I asked you about that. Yes. Yes, do go on.
You were like, who are you jealous about? Like, spill the tea. I'll fight them. But, well, when I wrote that song, though, it had nothing to do with like Twitch or anything, because I hadn't, or maybe I started stream, but like it was very early on, and Jealous was not about this at all. It was about like seeing people do fun things in another city or whatever, and I wanted to be a part of that. And there are like other reasons, other little small things that are really irrelevant and not important at all, but I made a song from it. But not to like, I don't know, just when you said that, and this whole imposter syndrome thing and like comparison on Twitch with numbers and analytics and all, like you started streaming, I couldn't help but compare myself to you sometimes.
Oh, the same. Absolutely same. You probably don't know that. Like I probably felt the same about you as well.
But like you're amazing, and I hate feeling jealous of people or envious, because that kind of has like a negative connotation to it. But like I admire you so much, and you deserve all the good things and everything that's happened. But like early on, I would be like, oh man, well, Haley's got so many views, Haley's got so many followers, she's got a Twitch partner, and like you started in September of 2020, and it's only been like a year-ish. It's been, I don't know what time is either anymore.
No idea what year it is.
Yeah. It's hasn't been that long, and you've accomplished so much. It's really awesome to see. But yeah,
thank you.
But that like feeling of like jealousy or imposter syndrome exists sometimes. But like,
I mean, I think I had a chat with many people about this, and you know, like, just I realized, there's always, no matter what you do, always, no matter what you do, how hard you try, how good you get, how much you achieve, there is always going to be someone better than you. And what I realized, I'm like, I guess like another way that I get out of it is that I remember, you know what, like it's okay. Like I recognize that there's always going to be someone better than me, but I'm happy with being myself. I'm happy with being with where I'm at. And that should be enough. That should be enough. I'm already like so grateful. Gratitude is one thing that always keeps me grounded. Just always before every stream, after every stream, I always just kind of ruminate a little bit on how thankful I am. How like I am not entitled to anything that I have, not entitled to any of these people. Like that's why I feel extra grateful that people come to my stream. Like, dang, you're not entitled to come. You're like taking time out of your day to hang here, and like it doesn't matter if you're lurking or whatever, you're still listening. Like that, like you could be listening to something else. Like, you might be listening to like 5 other streamers, but you're still like, you still have me on. And for that, I guess like I, just being really grateful keeps me grounded whenever I feel imposter syndrome too. I'm jealous.
That's great. Yeah, I feel like I do the same usually at the end of streams, because whenever my ending song is now A Million Dreams from The Greatest Showman.
That's why I heard you singing it. Yeah. I thought it was a request from somebody yesterday. Yeah. Oh, it was your ending song.
It's replaced Fireflies for a while now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, every time I sing that, I'm like, when I get to the chorus and it's about dreams and like how amazing things are, how great life is, I'm like sitting here singing to all these people that I can't see, but like, they're there and they're chatting, and I'm like, this is really fun, and I get to just make music and sing and do something that I love, and people are here for it. Like, I don't know why you're here, but you're here.
It's a beautiful thing. So it's a really beautiful thing.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So Daniel asks, what makes you uncomfortable streaming, if anything?
What makes me uncomfortable? That's a good
If
question,
anything.
Daniel. Yeah, that's a good question. I think, actually, it's a very timely question because I think prior to maybe my last stream, I wouldn't have been able to give an answer. But one of the things, this is, as with everything, I like to give a bit of context before I say something. One of the things that I want to be able to do with my channel is to build a space where people feel welcomed and feel like they, like, it doesn't matter, like, if you're, you know, feel like a bit of an outlier in society generally, like, you still feel welcomed no matter where you come from, no matter your background, in my stream. The difficulty in doing that is, so when trolls come in, when trolls come in, or when people, for a lack of better words, are just a little bit disrespectful with what they say, not necessarily perhaps talking smack about you, but just like saying like odd things that like, I try to like be like, oh, cool to like everything. But some people just have like their own, like they're talking to themselves, but in the chat almost. They're not like, there's no willingness to like actually reach out to anybody specifically in the chat and have a conversation with them or with the streamer. They're just kind of like doing their own thing. So I think the tough thing about streaming for me is like, it's the biggest blessing about streaming is the community, but it also is quite hard to handle sometimes. And so yesterday I was thinking, I want my channel to be a really welcoming and open space, but like I don't know how to show people grace when they are like that, I guess. So I think that's the hardest thing I have to deal with streaming. That'd probably be it.
That's a good example.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's really awkward when that happens.
Like I don't want to ignore you, but also like, I don't know, maybe they're just looking for attention. I don't know. It's a bit difficult to navigate around, but yeah. I don't know, what about you? What's your biggest struggle streaming?
That's a good question.
It is actually really good.
I did not think about an answer for this.
That's okay. Neither did I.
I'm just gonna ask Kaylee, and then she can answer.
I want to hear I want to hear your side as well, for sure.
I think that usually it's like my streams. They're fun. Streams are always really fun and really exciting to get to talk to people and interact with everybody. But like on occasion, I will just feel so dead, so tired that I'm like, this stream is terrible. And sometimes I'll voice it and I'll say that I feel like this is going kind of terribly, but like chat is really nice and they're all very supportive. But I sometimes just feel like I don't have the energy to give, but I really want to, or like it'll just plummet in the middle of a stream. And I'll feel really bad about that.
Yeah. 100% can relate to you. Like, I definitely have had streams where I'm like, oh, sick, I'm so keen to stream. And then, like, that lasts for probably like a solid 10 minutes. And I'm like, man, when will this end? I'm a little bit like, man, I love hanging out with y'all. But, like, I am, like, feeling real tired all of a sudden. And I don't want to talk to anybody. But also, like, I think as streamers, we've like, well, especially streamers who've committed to a schedule, it is like work.
Like, how many days a week do you stream now?
It's mostly been kept at 4 days. That's
so much.
Oh, is it? Wait, how often do you stream?
Anyway, I just stream twice a week. It used to be 3 times, but then I dropped it to 2. Yeah, I was feeling a little burnt out. And your streams are all like 4 or 5 hours, right?
Yeah, they're pretty long. Actually, that's another struggle that I have with the streams is that my mods, my entire community will know this. I struggle to keep on time because I just, when I'm riding the wave, I'm riding it hard.
Yeah,
yeah, there's that. But I don't know. Well, for now, I've like stripped it down to 3 days. I'm gonna bring it back to 4 days a week soon in like maybe 1 or 2 months. But like, I think like the amount of days that you have going on, it actually makes a lot of sense, because I was actually just thinking about how much you do. And actually, it's really inspiring. Like you do really inspire me and admire your work ethic and how hardworking you are, because like I see that it's, you know, it's not just the streams. Like it's, you know, you have your Patreon, you compose, you do a lot of composing, you do a lot of writing, you do a lot of social stuff. Like you highlight, you clip, you post, all of that. Like I see it and I'm like that's kind of what I want to achieve, you know, like, yeah. So, I mean, it makes sense. Like, yeah, 4 days a week is great, I think, but it actually, the more I think about it, like it doesn't actually give me too much room to do the other stuff that I want to do, which is actually what I kind of want to focus a little bit more on for this year, I suppose. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. We'll see.
Yeah,
I was
going to ask, like, what do you want to do with your, do you want to just keep streaming on Twitch how it is right now? Or like, do you want to expand to doing anything else? Or
yeah, well, I'm traditionally horrible at disciplines. So I told myself I'm going to post more on TikTok, you know, because TikTok is the thing now.
Oh, yeah.
But I posted one video at Christmas and that was it. I vanished from TikTok. So I'm hoping to get into, I think the overall goal is to bring people to Twitch. So like Twitch, I'm hoping will be my main space, you know, my main work. But that also doesn't mean that I want to shut myself off from other like avenues of income, and B, like just ways of, I don't know, like getting people, I don't know, like I basically just want to
engagement.
Yeah, exactly. I basically just kind of want to create an ecosystem where it all kind of feeds back into Twitch. So like I'm not on TikTok to be a TikTok star. Like I want people to eventually come through and visit like a stream. That's kind of the goal. Same with YouTube. I'm hoping to work on YouTube a little bit more, but I like don't know how I'm going to do that yet. So I need to plan that out a bit more thoroughly. And then Boom Avocado Kids has, shout out to him, incredible guy, has always encouraged me to do Patreon. And
you should do it.
Yeah, but I don't know what to put there. Like, I'm like, I couldn't put anything out there that people would want to like subscribe to. I don't know. Like, it's got to be like,
Well, some people apparently just want to support, like, without expecting any more of a return or anything. They're like, thank you for existing. Sweet. I want to support you.
So sweet. Man, hope in humanity restored. Faith in humanity restored. Honestly, just like being on Twitch has restored my faith in humanity. Just like the kindest people there, you know, you really get like the deeper sense of like, I want to support you. And I'm not like trying to get anything back out of you because other than just like you being you, which is like crazy, mind-blowing idea to try to comprehend. Yeah.
It's amazing though. And like so many people, I did not know like, well, I didn't really know what Twitch was like 2 years ago, but like after starting to stream and meeting all these people on Twitch, and the music community is so wholesome, and like so many people do charity streams and such that I didn't know that was a thing before, but like so many people do charity streams, and it's amazing what like how generous people are and how much they care for each other.
Yeah, and tell me about it. I'm just like, man, why don't people usually like run charities through streaming? Because because I'm just thinking about like back in the day when I used to get people to try to like support a charity, it'd be like you'd be grinding so hard, whereas like in real life, whereas like I don't know, just the Twitch community is a very giving place, and especially when it comes to charities, especially ones that you believe in, they're super supportive, which is like, bless you, it's for a good cause.
Do you ever feel like with Twitch being like your full-time thing now, because we mentioned how sometimes our energy just is not there and like we can't do a stream, you just like cannot. Do you feel that pressure to constantly stream? as it is your full-time gig now.
Yeah, exactly. I think the beauty of Twitch is that you can kind of choose whenever you want to take a day off, right? You can choose whenever you want to stream. I do think this idea that it's a full-time job, though, like definitely forces you to like show up sometimes when you don't feel like it. And I think that's okay too. And I think because it's work, that's just going to be the nature of work. Like you can't always take your like, you know, days off. But for the most part, I feel like really lucky in that the days where I do stream tend to kind of make up for the days where like today I took off streaming like very last minute because I was like, oh, my voice isn't feeling the best. I probably shouldn't push it given like the COVID circumstances now too. I was a bit cautious there. Yeah, and then like just when you're having a really bad mental health day, like I think like dang, I'm so lucky that I'm in, you know, like that I'm a streamer and that I can just call it off, you know, whenever I want, and the community would be so supportive of it. Whereas like if I were to, you know, you can't just say like, hey man, I'm having a rough mental health day. Can I take a day off work? And the, you know, boss is obviously going to be like, the heck no, we got work to do. Yeah. I definitely do feel like a sense of responsibility. Hopefully, thank goodness that I do still have that sense of responsibility. Yeah, I think it's important to show up as well sometimes, but you just got to know when, you know, like I think sometimes I overcompensate as well for the amount of time I stream. Like I go overtime a lot. So like I think that kind of makes up for the days that like I don't stream sometimes. And I think it's really good to like what streaming's helped me be able to do is have like a better life balance, you know, like in terms of like rest and work. Yeah, it's given me the space to be able to like balance that a bit better. I don't know about you.
Well, it's been helpful that like now that I'm out of school, this Twitch streaming kind of gives me like a thing to do. And like it's generating some revenue as well. And so like it feels validating, and it doesn't feel like I'm just like wasting my days away.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, that question of like, do you feel pressure to constantly create was from Huang. That was her question.
Oh, nice. Oh, to constantly create? I think that's a different question to constantly stream.
All right. Well,
I think.
Do you feel the pressure to constantly create?
The short answer to that would be, yeah, I do. Like, which is why I kind of want to work on it more. I feel like I'm not giving people enough. You know, like that's why. Hence, like trying to think about like what I can do on TikTok and YouTube as well. I don't know. Yeah, I have like
Spotify.
Really, yeah, and Spotify. Oh my gosh, you know, if it weren't for you and Gibson and Keem, the people that I've collabed with, I would have nothing on Spotify. Because I'm just so intimidated by the idea of like putting something up there, you know. Whereas like if it's a collab, at least like it's not just me. Yeah. I think that's.
Well, I'm glad that we got you on there.
Yeah,
but now that you're on there, you got to keep.
Oh no,
Come on.
Yeah, true. I know. Literally, one of the first like questions that people ask when they come in: do you have a Spotify? Do you have YouTube? My YouTube's just
like I do. But
yeah, I know I do, but it's also like it's barren. Completely barren. Yeah, I don't feel like I'm making as much as I want to. Like I have so many, I think, cool ideas. I just don't know how to execute them. And well, I don't have the time to do all of it as well. So I'm like trying to pick my battles, but also I'm overwhelmed by the amount of work that I have to do. But I'm also recently thinking like, well, it's not something you're meant to do alone. Start like building a team. So I guess that maybe that's like the next step, like building a team. You know, like you always want like control over like your ideas, because it's like I have a very specific idea of how to execute this, and I think it's going to be incredible. Like leaving in someone else's hands is like anxiety inducing. Yeah.
Even with like, I want to like re-release all or redo all of the things that I put out. But like, so recently for Talk to Me, that was the first. So like my latest song on Spotify is the first song that I got somebody else to master for me.
Was that like a very stark difference feel? Yeah.
Yeah. And like kind of do a little bit of mixing as well. We did like stem mixing. So like I did all the production, the writing, and I mixed it. but then I sent it over to my friend. He then mixed the stems a little bit and adjusted some more stuff and did the mastering. But like before that, I was like I really wanted, I felt like my music was missing something, and like you can only do so much. I would love to be like good at everything, but like you can't be professional in every single aspect.
Yeah.
And so I sent it off, but I was like, I don't know like how to, I don't know how to like tell people what I want.
Yeah.
That's like a struggle for me. And then also just feeling like I'm giving control to somebody else.
Yeah.
But that really wasn't the case, because it was a lot of back and forth of like, how do you like this? What do you want me to change? And like, it was just like a good collaboration. But yeah, sending it off was definitely,
I know, it's
initially
like my baby.
was like,
I don't know how to ask you to do, like this thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's really, really insightful. I think I'm really scared. Of doing that because I also don't really know what I want. and yeah, I don't know how to like tell people like this is like how I imagine it to be. So I think that's why I'm pretty much like I haven't recorded anything for Spotify, because I'm like, I don't know how to go about doing this or like achieving what I have in mind. And but it's really insightful. That's really insightful information. And
yeah. I think like also having somebody else listen and help, like it gives more ideas, and like maybe that'll give you more of an idea of what you don't want, which helps narrow things down.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, you're right. Like I guess like I needed that reminder of like you can't be good at every single thing, and like sometimes you do actually just need help from other people. It's
a hard thing to accept, though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I'm so curious now of like what your ideas are.
I just have like, I get flashes of like, visuals in my brain of like, what things could be. Like, YouTube videos and all that stuff. I have like visualizations of that in my head. But yeah, it's just like, man, I don't have the time to execute this. Yeah. But hopefully you will get a sense of what these ideas are as I slowly, hopefully roll them out.
Yes. By the time this podcast episode comes out, you'll have these ideas executed.
No guarantees. No guarantees.
Yeah. It's like talking about streaming a lot. You've been kind of vocal about when you feel burnt out from it. And how do you recover from burnout?
Yeah, gosh. I think I've experienced burnout for a very long time. Particularly in university. I think that's kind of where I learned how to deal with it first, and also like creator's block too. I think sometimes, I mean, like I think burnout is just like a sign of like you are dealing with more than you can probably handle at this current moment. So you should take a step back, reevaluate what you can do and the changes that you need to make to, make this more manageable. So I think the way I deal with it is I take a step back, I reevaluate, I do something relaxing, something that I want to do, something that is like purely feels selfish and, just to please myself, nobody else. I think being a huge people pleaser as well, that like has a lot of negative effects, obviously.
Yeah. I feel that.
Yeah, I know. Definitely because I feel that like all my life being, raised by Asian parents is just like compliment me, validate me. I just don't want to be a disappointment. Yeah, so just chill out a little bit and come back to it with a refreshed mindset. I think it's also really important too that you don't make that same burnout mistake again. Like I think what I did in uni was handled like, left things to last minute, like was doing more than I could handle. And I was like, oh, like I broke down. I was like, this is it. I'm burning out. I can't do this anymore. I completely shut myself off from everything and then took that time to relax. And then I'm like, okay, like I genuinely felt like I was over it. So I was like, okay, let's do it all over again. So I feel like the way to approach, like, yeah, when you approach burnout that way, you're actually just sweeping your problems under the, like the core issues under the rug. So what I've learned over time now is that to like properly deal with burnout, you gotta like make changes to, you know, deal with it better or like try to avoid getting to the point where you are actually managing or like dealing with more than you can actually manage. Yeah.
Good insights.
Yeah.
What like you went to school for design for this creative, it's a creative field. Yeah, what happens if you get a creative block when you like have to make things?
I know, right? Like especially when you got deadlines.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think it's different for everyone. For me, it's I gotta find that inspiration again. What I tend to do, I think it's actually quite similar now that I'm on Twitch. Similar kind of thing. Not necessarily like a writer's block or like a creative block, or just when I'm feeling like really low or feeling like stuck or that I'm not going anywhere. With design, it was like I just need something to inspire me. That was one part of dealing with it. So I just have a look at a lot of different kind of design. So it can either come from other people's work or it can come from the things around me. So actually, like, as you probably could tell on my personal Instagram, that like I take a lot of pictures of like nature and stuff. I'm really inspired by like just creation in general. So beautiful. There's so many beautiful natural things. So I'm really inspired by nature as well. And then the other thing is I think you just got to do. What I learned in honors was that like I got to a point in my project where I just had like the biggest creative block. And then my tutors, well, obviously there's a deadline coming up. My tutors obviously have heaps of experience with it. And so their advice for me was just, you just gotta make. It doesn't matter if you think it's crap or not, you just gotta do something. And you know what, like I found in doing that, I learned a lot in making like crap things. And because like I also made something that, you know, had potential during that time. It wasn't quite there yet. It had potential and it actually became like a really, really scuffed, a lo-fi prototype of what eventually became like my honors project. So like actually you just gotta, even if it's like crap, I think sometimes you just gotta do. And other times you just need to find inspiration and step back a little bit too. And it's the same with streaming. Like if I'm not feeling like streaming, like I'll just hop around to other people's streams. And I feel really inspired because it's so incredible seeing people do like awesome things. Yeah. Do you have any like insight on how you get over that as well? It could be different. I'm curious as well.
Yeah. No, pretty similar. I was going to say that like there's been like studies that people have done. There was like an example of like some photography class where the prof split the class into two and they like had one group take 100 pictures or whatever it was, and like they had to get that quantity to get the grade. Yeah. And then the other class was like they have to produce a perfect photograph and like they get graded on if it's perfect. And so like the group that took 100 photographs, they actually improved more than the group who didn't take like any photos because they're just worrying about like ruminating on like what makes a good photograph.
Absolutely.
Sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you overthink something too much as well, you sit on it for too long or you sit on an idea, or like, you know, when it comes to making stuff, sometimes, you know, it's really important to get the scribbles out there, right? Like I'm a perfectionist, and I think a lot of creative people can be perfectionists as well. Like you have this fear of like, oh, it needs to be perfect before I can put it out there in the world. Well, actually, like, you know, you just need to start with the scribbles and the sketches before you come up with a masterpiece. So absolutely can resonate with that. Yeah.
Also, the jingle for this podcast was actually a loop that I made on stream.
There you go. You never know what you'll make.
Yeah, I left the music for the podcast to the very end. Like I set a deadline of like the date that I was going to launch the podcast. Everything was ready to go. First episode ready. I got clips ready. And like, I just didn't have music. And I was having kind of a block, a creative block, and I still have, I think I'm coming out of it now, but like recently I've been in it. And so on stream, it kind of helped that my voice wasn't feeling too good. And so I did like a guitar loop.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
that's interesting how that works out, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, awesome. I find that also as well, like when you give yourself constraints, like very tight constraints, you actually like might produce something good with that. I find that if you have too much freedom with things, it's actually like either A, you don't know where to start, or B, like you don't know what to do with it. So the tighter the brief or like, you know, like constraints that you give yourself, the better the result might be. So for example, like, the 100 photos thing, like that's a very clear constraint. You just got to like take as many as you can, and something good might come out of it. You never know.
Never know. Your photography, not me stalking your Instagram last night.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second, did I get a comment from like Mirabs? I'm like, why is this such an old photo as well? Yeah,
it's such a good photo. You have so many good photos on there.
Thank you.
I had no idea that you did photography.
Yeah, it was much better when I was able to travel and I was out and about. I feel very, I mean, the Instagram there, the content has been paused for a very long time because I haven't been able to go out and about and explore and stuff. But yeah, I love photography. And also you're an incredible photographer yourself, and you really go out and enjoy, and you take photos of people and nature, I see.
My photography page has also been pretty stagnant. It has not been updated. What is your favorite place to travel to? There's a lot of different places on there.
Yeah. I think anywhere. Oh gosh, it's a great question.
Or like, where haven't you been?
I haven't been to a lot of places, girl. Trust me. Trust me. I think I really like places that give me a sense. Wow, I didn't actually think about it. This is like super profound. I just like had a whole like epiphany.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah, and a lot of the photos that you see on my Instagram are quite telling of this too. I actually thought, like, why don't I really take photos of like city life and things like that? And I think the reason is because like I'm drawn to things that are quite peaceful or like are quite soothing and calming. Hence, like even though I think there's a couple of photos in there where I took of like some buildings in Vienna or something. But it was just like the snow on it was like so beautiful and serene. I think I just really love places that evoke a sense of stillness, like a sense of calmness, and peace. So, and I tend to find that in nature, I guess, which is why I'm quite drawn to it. Yeah, free from like man-made things and people.
Yeah. You should come to Canada.
I know.
Come here.
I
come hang out.
want to, girl. I really want to. I really, really want to. But my main concern with traveling is like it's mostly just. It's not even the fact that I'll get COVID, because I'm like, I probably will. Like, it's a wonder that I haven't got it yet. You know,
I feel that.
Yeah. Especially when like cases are on the rise. Though I'd laugh if by the time this podcast comes out, I actually got COVID. But anyways,
oh, no. I know. No, let's not jinx it.
Yeah, let's not. Yeah, knock on wood there. But I think my main concern is more so that I can't get back. Like, I don't have a problem with traveling. Yeah. It's just like if borders suddenly close, like I can't go back home. And it's fine that I can stream and stuff, but it's like it's not the same. And I'm like separated from everyone. You know, I still have a life that I need to, tend to back at home.
Yeah,
that's the main thing. So for sure, after restrictions ease and stuff, like properly, you betcha, I'm coming. I'm going to TwitchCon. The whole thing. I'm going to everything.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. People are talking about TwitchCon 2022 in San Diego. And I'm like, I don't know. It's in like October or something, right?
Why not?
I'm like, COVID.
Oh, okay. So is it for you, is it more like the danger of catching COVID or passing it on? Or is it more like the similar kind of fear that I have of not being able to go back home?
I think the first, like getting sick and also getting other people sick.
Yeah.
But the other is also quite a concern too.
Oh yeah,
I'd like to be able to go back home.
Yeah. That's true. Well,
Yeah.
at least, I mean, the thing is also like you're kind of close-ish to home. I mean, compared to where like me
Kind of.
traveling over to like to San Diego. Yeah, but I think being so far from home is quite alarming. It can be a bit.
Yeah. I mean, you're far from like every country.
Yeah, just
So-
far from everything. Like it takes like what, 7 hours I think to fly to the other side of Australia to get out of it, and after that
Really?
it's like completely fine. Yeah, it's something ridiculous like 5 to 7 hours or something. I just remember being in a plane. Oh gosh, those were the good times. And like traveling overseas, and then like 5 hours later or something, I'd be like looking at the map, like really excited, like, oh cool, I'm going to another country. I'm like, oh, I'm still in Australia. 5 hours later, still here. Yeah.
I guess that would be the same from like flying from where I am to East Coast Canada. If I'm going that way,
True, Canada's huge as well. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Where do you want to travel to? Like, what's the first location that you want to travel to as soon as like it's okay to travel again?
Well, I've never been to Europe, so like probably France.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can you speak French? You probably can though, right? You were taught it in high school and stuff in school, right?
Yeah. French is actually a mandatory thing, second language that you had to learn throughout school. But I learned nothing. I retained nothing from that.
Oh.
But I like gave it another shot in university, and then my cousin introduced me to this program. It's called Explore, and it's like a government funded thing. So like Anglophones learn French and Francophones learn English, and like they just pay for you to go to another city and like be immersed in French. Like,
wow.
it's like a whole summer, like a month of living in Montreal, and I did it twice. So like in Montreal and Quebec City, and yeah, that's fun. I retained some French from that.
Were you only speaking French there, like mainly? Is that what the aim of the program is? Yeah.
Yeah, well, so like you would have classes in the morning, and then they would do activities after, and like cultural activities. They would take you around the city, go to museums and whatever.
Oh, that's
encourage
so
you to speak
fun.
French. Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, cool.
Traveling, would you do a tour?
Ooh.
You know, do a music tour?
Yeah, girl, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know about this one. I don't like it's very expensive to run one, I think. Just like the hiring of the venue costs alone. I don't know. If I get like huge. Oh, by the way, I refuse to acknowledge that I'm like actually huge or famous. I don't know why, but this was just a thing. Like, when I kind of started out, I refuse to acknowledge it until I get to like at least 100K. At least 100K followers. And until then, I feel like I'm still relatively small.
What are you at now? How many followers do you have now?
Almost 39K. So like we're not even halfway.
You're
It's still got a
getting
long way to go. Still got a long way to go.
You're on billboards. Come on.
Well, I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, it was a huge privilege because then I was amongst people who were like, people like Brox in like the millions. I'm just like the small streamer with like tens of thousands only, but it's also a lot. But yeah, I don't know. I think until I get like huge, or if I get huge, if I ever get to that point, then probably. Otherwise,
You'll get there.
I don't know about that. We'll see, girl. We'll see. I don't want to get too hopeful, because you never know with this industry, like how far you'll get. So I'm just gonna milk it as much as I can, try as hard as I can. Here we go.
That's good.
Yeah, but I don't know. Have you ever tried busking before?
Honestly, I have not.
Maybe you should give it a
you?
go. Because I was just thinking, like, rather than doing tours, I don't know, like,
Just
it's
busking tour.
well, it's not necessarily that like busking would replace touring for me, but like I guess it just made me think about like in terms of performing live for people. I've always like really liked the idea of busking, and not from the viewpoint of I'm gonna get so much money from it, because the reality is like people won't stop, like they'll just keep walking mostly, right? And I just like this idea of, and I think it's the same, it's kind of the same on Twitch as well, like I just want to be able to play music for people in the background, you know? Like there's something nice about people walking by and I'm just like their background music with you know, without paying too much attention to like whether I'm earning anything from it. I just like to, I feel like that'd be a selfish thing for me to just play my music for people to listen, but not necessarily have to like give me anything back. I think that's kind of why like I enjoy this idea of busking. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So like I'd like to be able to do it more, but it's just like people keep telling me like it's not worth. Like it's not going to give you the return that you want, but I'm like, but it's like a performance, but not really. You know, it's like a chill performance. There's a lot of pressure in doing a tour. I don't know if I'm good enough for that. I feel like I'm more a streamer than a performer / musician, you know?
I see. Well, I think it'd be cool. It'd be fun.
Yeah, we'll see. When COVID's also a thing as well. So I'm like, I don't want to be out and about right now. Yeah.
I think a lot of our Twitch communities would love to be able to like meet us, meet you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, you should like totally go TwitchCon if you're able to, because you'd be surprised by how many people like you know want to meet you.
All right, Daniel asks, what gets you up in the morning?
What gets me up in the morning? Oh, that's such a good question. Well, I'm not really a morning person for one. So often I don't want to get out of bed. Recently I've been trying to develop better disciplines. Like I said earlier, I'm horrible at them. I want to be better at them. So waking up consistently is a thing. I think in a metaphorical sense, not like in a literal sense. What gets me up in the morning?
It could be literal too.
What gets me up in the coffee? Straight up just coffee gets me up in the morning. I think more and more it's about making a difference to somebody's life. Making a positive, it's very important that I say positive difference to somebody's life. I don't want to make somebody's life harder. And I think
you're gonna wake up and make this person miserable.
I know, yeah, that's the goal. Hey, I've made a difference to somebody's. Yeah, at least at the end of the day, I can tick the box. I've made a difference to somebody's life today. No, that'd be horrible. I think more and more so lately. Like as I kind of understand who I am as a person and what I want to do with my life, it's becoming more and more so that. And even if I'm not directly doing that, I think it's important. The in-between times of not doing that is quite important as well, whether it's like personal development or growth or like maintenance of like life things. I think that all feeds back into that somehow, right? So yeah, whether it's just like complimenting someone, like I think that does wonders, giving someone a confidence boost, whether it be spending time with somebody. Yeah, all of that. I think that is quite crucial to my everyday philosophy. Yeah.
That's really sweet.
What about you? Other than wait, you don't drink coffee, do you?
I drink tea.
Yeah, you drink tea. Yeah.
I'm more of a tea person. Yeah.
I don't get the people who like run on just water. I'm like, what? You don't need caffeine. You're telling me you don't need caffeine? Kudos to you.
Yeah. I don't know. Tea is more of like I don't know if it's the caffeine now or if it's just like, it's nice to have like a warm drink in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally
at least.
Agree. It's cozy. It's nice and cozy.
Exactly.
It's like the healthy equivalent of hot chocolate.
Yeah. Well, there's also so much caffeine in chocolate as well.
Yeah, that's true. You make a good point.
But yeah, I think, recently I've been really motivated to make stuff and create.
Oh, that's
and
so awesome.
Like,
yeah.
That gets me up in the morning.
Oh, that's so awesome.
It's just like excited for projects. It's not really helpful for getting me to sleep though, because I'll be thinking about
brain
like
is just buzzing.
Yeah. Like I could do this thing or maybe I'll do that. But also like if I have too many ideas, like that just there's too many. I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
I can't do anything about it.
Yeah, that's precisely why I haven't like really executed any other stuff that I want to do too. Just so overwhelmed by by the possibilities of things.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a great thing to wake up for.
That's not always the case, though. Sometimes just want to just chill in bed,
Mhm.
just lay there,
Yeah. Me every
go on your
day.
phone.
Me every day. I spend a good maybe 15, 20 minutes on my phone before I get up. It's a horrible habit. I'm trying to get rid of it. I'm just trying to be like, okay, within the first 15 minutes of when my alarm rings, I have to force myself to get up. That's that's the goal.
Sometimes I've fallen back asleep. If I don't have any commitments in the morning, I'll like wake up and then I'm like, yeah, it's kind of cold. I'm just gonna stay here for a bit.
Oh, that's so
and then I
nice.
fall asleep again.
Yeah. It's not cold enough here to be able to do that. Like to stay cozy in bed. It never gets cold enough for that. Yeah. But I can envision that in my head. The cozy winters. Oh, bless. I just need to move to a place that snows.
I mean, you could come here. Saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Saying.
It's true. You do have the friendliest people there, right?
We got maple syrup. We've got nice people. Snow.
That's what we need.
Yeah. You got me.
Yeah, that's all I need personally.
Eric asked
Eric.
some deep questions.
Oh, all right. Hit me with it, Eric. What you got for me?
What were the setbacks, the struggles, the triumphs no one's seen until now?
Maybe I'm not sure exactly what the question is, but maybe it's about what I've talked about here, until now, what I revealed, perhaps. Actually, I think there's a lot that I've revealed just in this conversation.
Yeah, we talked about a lot.
Yeah, I think the first thing that came to mind is just the biggest setback is actually just my brain. I'm a firm, but I think comparatively, I haven't had I've been fortunate enough to not go through really, really deep mental health struggles, which I know that I'm super privileged and other people have it horribly. And I'm a huge believer in getting everyone to speak up about their mental health more and being more open to reach out to people for help. Even though I personally haven't, I think I'm a firm believer in other people who are, especially going through it, having it harder than I am to do that. So I think a lot of the setbacks really have been internal struggles. I've been thinking a lot more recently as well about how a lot of the setbacks that I've had are I'm do I expose them? I think it does have to do with, and it's not their fault. I think my parents, my parents, I guess, my upbringing. Maybe you won't talk my parents. I don't want to really expose them. Let's just say my upbringing, I think, has as well been a setback in the sense that I feel like I've always really struggled to be comfortable with who I am as a person because I'm such a people pleaser and I don't want to disappoint my parents. And I think going throughout high school, I've never really been hugely academically actually I don't know if that's true because I did really, really well in university and in all the the writing stuff that I did, but I did horribly in English in high school. So I don't think my success, well, actually this is what I've been thinking about this morning too. What I keep having to tell myself is that my success or whatever metric you're using to measure success, it doesn't define your value as a person. And that's something that I really, really struggled to come to terms with. And it's something that I constantly have to keep reminding myself. That's one of the biggest trials, setbacks, I think. So yeah, growing up, I've always really enjoyed creative things, but never really had the courage to pursue it because it's unstable. You're not guaranteed a future or and I know that they love me and it comes from a good place. Always, most of the time, right? This doesn't apply to everybody, but most of the time your parents would just want the best for you. They just want to make sure that you can stand on your own 2 feet, that you can manage yourself, which is I think why there was a huge concern for when I was looking at uni courses and stuff. I was none of this interests me. The only things that do interest me are design. And And then my mum would be like, how about teaching secondary education and economics? I'm like, that is far removed from what I enjoy at all. So yeah, I think the fear of doing what I know that I'm passionate about and good at has been a setback. A mindset that I've picked up recently in the past couple of years as well is, and I've put it in one of my stream go live notifications. You know how I do like the little line of encouragement or mantra or whatever. I posted once, don't let the fear of the outcome stop you from starting, basically.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so I think that is something that I have to constantly remind myself as well. And that has been one of the main reasons why I don't do a lot of things as well, because I'm just fear of what it could be. But yeah, a lot of the setbacks that I have are mainly just like internal mental things.
Yeah. One of the things that I always say is you never know until you try. And I guess that's kind of similar in that way, that like you just kind of have to go for it. You really don't know what will happen, what will come of it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. It's really nice that you like know yourself enough that you know what you're passionate about and that you can go for it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't like, I had no idea. If you'd asked me like when I just finished high school, I would have not known how to answer that. Life just happens to be that way. You just kind of explore and you figure out what you like and you don't like.
Yeah. I didn't really know what to do for university either. Well, I mean, you wanted to do design. You were like all for that. Having my mom who's a musician is kind of helpful in that way. That
she's a musician.
Like, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Runs through the genes. Runs in the family.
Yeah. When they're in Taiwan, she was like part of the Chinese orchestra playing guzheng.
Wow.
Chinese zither. Yeah, and so like she teaches that here now. But so like it's nice to have somebody who kind of understands.
Yeah.
understands the creative side of things. But yeah, I didn't really want to do music for university. I wanted to do architecture. And I mentioned this like in the last episode that I talked about this. Yeah, I wanted to do architecture, but I realized I was really bad at math. So and like I was having a lot of fun learning flute in band and doing that. That was like the only thing I was good at. So I went for that in university. So interesting how that all works out.
Yeah. Oh, you're an incredible muso. So I'm like, I feel like there are just, I mean, I know that like I still feel bad about calling myself a musician, but I like people always say just you are a musician.
Just
stop.
accept it.
Yeah,
you are.
Yeah. I think like as a musician now, I'm like, dang, I really wish I like had the proper education for it. So I knew how things worked properly. If I want to do that, I now have to make the time to teach myself almost. So it's the same with design. Like, you could come out, call yourself a designer, but it's still different to getting that education. Like you learn these little things that you wouldn't be able to learn normally. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I almost wish that my parents forced me to do something like piano. Like every single other Asian kid before was forced to like learn the violin or piano. And it's funny because I was forced to do like swimming and ballet and stuff, but like never piano. So weird.
Oh.
Yeah, so weird.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Daniel asks, best tip for not procrastinating?
Ooh.
If you have any.
Yeah, I'm a huge procrastinator, so this is an interesting question.
Great.
Yeah. Over the years, what I've learned is to have clear to-do lists. Scheduling and a routine is very, very important. And I think something that I almost kind of picked up from co-working streams, actually, is like, you know, the
Pomodoro.
The Pomo method. So, but I feel like if I were to do the Pomodoro method on my own, it wouldn't really work out because I'd just be like getting distracted and things like that. I think there's a couple ways you can stop yourself from procrastinating. You need to identify what is distracting you, or like why are you procrastinating? Like if you're really glued to your phone all the time, I would suggest like an app, like I think it's called Forest, one where like you, do you know it? It's
So like plant a tree, grow a tree or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a productivity app where like you not by the way, not sponsored, just putting it out there. Yeah, like
unless
sponsor me, please. Yeah, so like you can look into it yourself, but it might help you with like not touching your phone. More so identify the things that you that are distracting you. But for me, I think really like accountability has always helped me with heaps of stuff. Like my disciplines. Actually, it's pretty much just like mostly helping with my disciplines. Like having someone keep you accountable or something to keep you accountable is really, really helpful for productivity. So not so much doing the Pomodoro method on my own has helped, but rather having someone to work alongside with doing it together has always been really encouraging. So I guess if you're a huge procrastinator, maybe doing like a co-working session where like you might just stay in call with somebody and set like a timer for both of you where it's like you don't touch anything else. You just purely focus on your work, and then you have a break where you can chat, do whatever you want, and then get back into it. Maybe that'll help. I don't know.
Yeah. It sounds like, good tips. Yeah, I think getting started on things is the hardest part.
Yeah.
But this also like came up in the last chat that I had, and also came up, I'm reading Atomic Habits right now. And
is that the one that you showed? No. The one you showed on stream was something about sleeping.
Yeah. The one that I mentioned on stream was Why We Sleep.
Yeah.
This other book is Atomic Habits. I've just like been reading a lot recently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, it like one of the things is they have like a 2-minute rule or something. It's basically like you set a time for yourself of like you're only going to do this task for 2 minutes. Like you just have to start and do it for like a short amount of time, and you'll find that once you're in it, you'll just want to keep going.
Yeah.
I was talking to Becky from Becky and Chris the other day, podcast episode before this one, and she also talks about doing this for when she finds that she's stuck and she like can't, she needs the motivation to start working. She'll like set a timer for 15 minutes or whatever, and she'll just be in the zone and then end up doing all the work.
That is such a good tip. I'm gonna force myself to do that the next time I'm worried about starting something. But yeah, absolutely, you're right. Like actually the hardest part, like one of the main reasons why I procrastinate is just like I know it's gonna be like a long, daunting task. As well. So yeah, you just need to force yourself to do it in a short amount of time. I guess that's a good tip.
Just like one more question. Who are your musical inspirations?
Oh, there's so many. There's so many. I think people inspire me in different ways. I think the main ones that come to mind instantly, Bon Iver, Sufjan Stevens. I think those two are quite obvious. Not necessarily. I don't think you can see a direct correlation between like the way I do music and the way they do it. But I think they still inspire me a lot. Like, I just think they're so masterful with their music in the way that they create, like how do they envision all these instrumentals, you know? It's just beautiful. And lyrically, I think a lot of what they say doesn't make sense. It's like overly poetic and abstract for me, but it sounds nice. So I don't know, I'm a little bit iffy about that. But sometimes I think a little bit too abstract for me sometimes. But I think the way that they write is beautiful as well. Bit more of an obscure reference. I think a band that has been quite key for me when I kind of started thinking about music more seriously is a band called Woodlock. They're from Melbourne in Australia, and they're also like indie folk. I think they have incredible songwriting ability as well, the ability to tell a story.
I'll have to check them out later.
Yeah, for sure you should. There are so many more. Vocally, I think a huge inspiration has been, and like I think this one's a little bit more obvious because our tone is a little bit similar. Would be IU. I don't really listen to much K-pop, but I or like Korean music in general. But I think when I first listened to her, I was like, oh gosh, her voice is so gorgeous, and it's like super airy and stuff. And so I think the tonal quality of our voices, and that's in some very, very small sense, which is obviously like far superior, is so I kind of take inspiration a little bit from her as well, vocally. I think she's probably the closest person like I vocally take inspiration from, but musically and stuff, like all those other people that I've mentioned, there's so much more that I'm missing out on. I'm sorry, but yeah, those are the ones that come to mind first.
Nice. Yeah. We have our mutual love of Marie's music.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh my gosh, she's incredible. I was listening to her music yesterday again, and I was like, how does she do this? I literally was like, how does she do this? I was listening specifically to Little Bird, the choice of harmonies, the instrumentals, the melodies. I'm like, how? And the like, so lyrically rich as well. I was like, fangirling so hard.
Yeah. Joining your streams, like when I found you on Twitch and like
a little bit
realizing that you,
well, right? Yeah,
I don't even know how we actually connected, but
I actually found you through Marie, which is really funny. I don't remember how I got to Marie. I think it might have been Alex, actually. Morning Musume, for those who don't know who Alex is. Morning Musume 11, I think his username is.
Yeah. 10 out of 10 mod.
Yeah. Incredible guy. He was in my streams, and then I think he talked about Marie, and then I think I knew of, like, I found out somewhere that she was streaming. And then I think one time I caught her stream finally, and then she raided you. Always, as always. No surprises there. She always raids you, which is like awesome. And I was like, I think I remember actually, oh my gosh, I actually think I remember walking.
It's all coming back.
Yeah. I remember walking into you playing Wildfire, I think. And incredible song, by the way. You should check it out on Spotify, guys. It's incredible. And all streaming services.
I'm cutting that out.
Don't cut that out.
Thank you.
And I remember my first impression of you. I was like, wow, this is an original? She's incredible. And I remember it's like such a beautiful like folk vibe as well. And I was like relatively-ish new to the Twitch music scene at that point in time. So it was really nice to find you. And
likewise.
And I think that's how we connected, maybe. I don't know how you found me though, because I recognized you instantly.
Really?
Yeah.
I definitely, like, somebody, I think Ron had mentioned your streams a couple times in my Discord. Yeah, and then I think I've been to your streams before Michael Alvarado raided you. But
oh my god.
Like, he raided you a few times, so yeah.
Oh, bless. So nice. Us the duo are so nice.
Yeah. Twitch it's fun.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for this chat.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I truly feel really honored. Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. I'll link everything, all your socials, all your Twitch things in the descriptions. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you again for having me. And I really enjoyed the conversations as well, and gaining a lot of insight as well. I feel like I learned a lot from you. So thank you. Go check out twitch.tv/MIRABELLE for good content, please. Don't cut that out.
Twitch.tv/Hayzee.
No.
Yay.
No.
Cool.